Hey, good morning. It's the Everyday Alpha podcast. This is Christian coming to you down here in the old studio, waiting on Ryan, my counterpart, to jump on, and we're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna talk about a lot of fun things that guys are interested in. You know, sharing a story just right now before Ryan jumps on. I work at the Medical Man Cave, so I do a lot of men's counseling. I talk to them about their issues. I talk to them about sexual health, personal performance. I talk to them about mental health. We talk about diet, exercise. Obviously, the physician then dives in to testosterone therapy, medical therapy, things of that nature. But I had a guy who called me today, and we talked, and we were talking specifically about our permanent male enhancement that we do, and he's really interested in getting the procedure done. He's really interested in knowing about the results and knowing how he can get there. Walked him through all of that. And he said this to me. He said, I'm nervous and I'm embarrassed to tell my fiance. And I said to him, I said, that's an interesting statement. You're embarrassed to tell your fiance. He says, yeah. I said, well, listen, trust and communication is the most important thing between you and your fiance. And so if this is an important decision for you, I would hope it would be an important decision for her as well. But that's the challenge that a lot of these guys have. There's so much confidence missing from so many of my clients, and confidence is it's got to be the most important thing that a man or woman could have carrying themselves with. Because when you're confident that you can do something, you'll do something. And when you're not confident you can do something, you're going to be scared. There's fear. There's things that you're not sure about. And so that's the exciting thing about what I get to do. We ended the conversation with, I'm here for you. Talk to your fiance. It'd be a great wedding gift for you both. And, he's going to think about it. But it just made me start thinking about for anybody and everybody. If you're in a relationship and you're committed to that relationship, there needs to be clear communication and there needs to be trust, and there shouldn't be any fear about bringing up anything that you perceive as important to you to your partner. So we'll keep that kind of conversation going. We'll be talking about more of that. Um, Got some other guests on the docket here down the road. We're going to be bringing in some great stories that everybody's going to love, some stuff that people didn't even know about, which is pretty cool. And we're just going to keep talking about men's health, how to be an alpha, how to be an alpha in your own life, how to be an alpha in your family, how to be an alpha in your relationships. And alpha doesn't mean dominant, but it definitely means confident. It definitely means capable. It definitely means you can cope. And those are the things that men need to be able to have. If men can't do those three things, then they need help. They need some help. And so, the goal of our podcast here is to offer some solutions, some ideas, just a place to talk about it from people who have experience. I have a lot of experience doing this. Medical background for over 20 years in healthcare. Recently, these last 4 years in the psychology of the man and learning about the man and what's wrong with them or what's right with them. What are they looking for? Why? Helping them with their confidence. And so, I bring these stories and I bring this level of experience to you, and we'll continue to do that. So I'm going to put this on pause and we will get jumping here in just a second. Not bad, actually.
Not too shabby, huh?
I don't have a cool brick wall like that. My basement's wrapped in that white, that whatever stuff. And so it doesn't look as good as that looks really cool.
You know what though? It's funny you actually talk about that white, foamy, stuffy wall covering because I was 80% locked on getting it done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow this up. And I decided to hold off. Where's the little full screen thing here? Um,
By the way,
yeah,
we are recording.
I decided to hold off because how's the screen? I don't even know what you can see here.
I can see go to your right a little bit more because I can see framing over your left shoulder. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, I was gonna get it covered because as you know, our whole basement has the exposed walls and it helps with insulation and it looks clean. But I brought the phone down with Randy the other day and he's like, I love that. So I feel like at least I'm gonna have to leave this wall open.
No, that looks great. And the wrapping of your basement makes a huge difference in just, warm, cold, etc. for the house. So anyway, no, I like your background. That is really well done. Simple, you know, a picture, a plant. I've got a moose.
I like your moose. I know I was trying to figure out if I needed a little extra touch, but I don't have a moose, so I'm gonna leave it.
All right, one more adjustment to your camera. You need to get rid of that. Go a little bit more to your left.
This way.
Yep, right there. Perfect. Now I don't see that framing in the upper corner.
So it's funny, you know what Randy was actually like, I want this ceiling. And I'm like, what?
No, no.
Yeah, it's like the ceiling looks a little unfinished, a little lazy.
Like if it was industrial unfinished, that'd be badass. But it looks like, it looks like it's not finished.
Spray it black right there.
Yeah,
Just matte black.
that'd be badass. Yeah, absolutely.
How's the audio on your end?
Like what I can hear from you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it sounds great. What about me?
Yeah, you sound great. Is that coming
Okay.
through the mic on your earphone or your earmuffs?
Yeah, the mic from the speakers on my head.
Those are the ones you wore the last couple times, correct?
Uh-huh.
Like a Bose noise cancellation
Yeah,
wireless?
that's exactly what they are.
Okay.
Actually, these aren't Bose, these are Sony, but it's the noise canceling wireless, they work really good.
Okay. Yeah. If this sound isn't great, I'm gonna have to end up going with something. I hate the over the ears. They smush my ears and drive me crazy. So maybe I have to go with like a small little earbud or something.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds great. It's no problem at all. It sounds really good.
Good. How's your day?
It started out pretty chaotic. Uh, you know, had to drop the car off real early. The guy that I'm working with down there, he gave me his car as a loaner. He's like, here, dude, just take my car and go do what you got to do, and then I'll tell you when I'm done and come back. So I just came back here to my house and I've been working since about 8:15, busy with clients, just trying to get people the information they're looking for. I mean, shoot, I've done 3 consults this morning with men who, they're really interested in what we're doing, but they have no confidence, Ryan. I mean, that some of these guys, there's so much lack of confidence. Like there, 2 of these guys told me, I haven't even told my fiance, and one other guy told me, I haven't told my wife. I'm too embarrassed to tell my wife. And I'm like, you're too embarrassed to tell your wife, bro. She's gonna find out one way or the other.
About an
But
enlargement?
an enlargement, yeah, about an enlargement.
Hmm. Yeah, that's not something that you're going to be able to hide for too much longer.
No, no. I mean, even especially the first 2 weeks when there's a bandage wrapped around your wiener. You know, how are you gonna play that one off? I got kicked by a donkey. I don't know.
So I mean that's fascinating to me because now that makes me I would imagine that makes me believe that there wasn't really a conversation one about closing the deal and making it happen or potentially not even a conversation about the whole thing.
Are you talking about in my consults?
Yes.
Yeah. So really, the consult, I own the consult for the first 10 minutes. Right? It's me talking, so they're getting all the information they need, and then we slowly roll into the person, but not personally. Right? I don't care how big you are. I don't. That doesn't matter for the consult. Right? It's just informative on what's going to happen, how it's going to go. But then, you start, that's when I start closing these guys and I start saying, well, when are you going to be made available? When can you come in? Looking forward to having you. That's when I haven't even told my fiance or my girlfriend, or I'm embarrassed to tell my wife.
Hey guys, real
Oh,
quick,
hey, hey,
so
Randy.
sorry to interrupt you. I got to run downstairs because I have an issue downstairs with my Airbnbs. I'll be right back. Good morning, guys. How are
Good
you?
morning.
Good to see you both.
Good
Um,
morning.
two questions, not to be a Debbie Downer. Okay. Um, the backdrops look great. Ryan, good job. Okay. One thing, is there a way to bring your camera closer to you? Just so perfect. And then move the plant over towards you a little bit, please.
More?
Um, let's see. I think that's maybe a little close, maybe the camera a little bit more towards you, just a little bit. Just so because I want it to be even with Christian's face.
Someone is at the front door.
Well, Randy, you have to understand, Ryan's about 5'1" and I'm 6'5", so he's just not going to look as big
Shut
as
up.
I do.
Okay. Maybe a little bit more, please.
Bring it in a little more.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to eat my computer screen.
It
And
actually looks perfect.
and then maybe over to um maybe over to your right a little bit.
Me?
No, the camera, the computer. Yeah, perfect. And the um the plant over towards you a little bit, please.
Voila.
Beautiful.
More?
And then Christian, you got to lose the little guy right there.
It's a moose. I
Gotta
knew
get
that
rid
was
of
going to get somebody.
because the thing is, I was telling Ryan,
Oh,
we're talking about people from all over the country. It's not going to be like good old boys from
I can get a plant. You want a plant?
Plant will be good.
All right, I'll be right back with a plant.
Okay.
Stand by.
I'm going to be right back, but you guys can go on, keep going, okay?
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Ryan, the backdrop, unbelievable.
Awesome. I'm glad we spent that time.
Yeah, I like your backdrop, Ryan. It looks really good.
So Christian, we got to work on you next, okay?
Listen, I've got cement background walls like that, but they're covered in that insulation wrap, and so it doesn't look as good as his.
You know what we should do though, Ryan? Put the painting's amazing. We should put the plant just on a like raise it a little bit.
Raise it a little bit.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Okay, but you know what though? The uh I would lose the plant. Looks
Wrong
like
plant. Wrong plant.
one plant. It looks like your grandma's plant. Okay,
That's,
let me go.
that's the only
Okay,
one I can find.
the computer though needs to go to your right a little bit though. So we see a little of the cement. Yeah, perfect. I'll be right back.
Wrong plant. Wrong fucking plant.
Oh
I've
shit!
got Randy. I showed Randy all my plants. I've got this sweet grass
Yeah.
that we got from, you know what store I can't stand, but you always end up there is Hobby Lobby.
Oh, totally,
And
totally.
they've got amazing selection of fake houseplants. This Japanese plant, I wanted it down here, and Randy was like, nah, we can't have that thing. It's so like modern and sexy, and he picked this big old leafer. So it is what
Is
it
it
is.
is that a fake or is it a real?
100% fake.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to have fake plants, especially with our tall ceilings. It's just all the dust that collects up on them.
Oh, yeah. No, fake for us. Like, I don't really care. I mean, I'll take the little vacuum and go over them every once in a while with the little brush, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It is what it is.
It's on the
So
kids'
anyway,
list.
yeah. So that's what we were doing with the consults, and yeah, it comes out at the end of the consult. Uh, and I think it's two things. One, I think it's guys, they're interested and they're not really ready to commit, and so they're coming up with excuses. A lot of guys will say to me, you know, well, I got to talk to my wife or I got to talk to my girlfriend, and I'll say, I think that's important. Great, I hope you do. Or I'll say, I'm shocked you're telling me this now. You're telling me you haven't spoken to your wife about this already, So I try and use the psychology just to, get them thinking more about, well, hey, let's get this done. But yeah, that was my morning. How about yours?
So my morning was filled with a child who wasn't feeling great, and we decided to keep her home. She is not a complainer, so when she says she's not feeling good, she's not lying. So it worked out because I've just got a ton of calls here today. So she hunkered down. Jess took the boy to school. I had a meeting, first thing, short one that went well. I've got a great client right now. He's up there with one of my favorite clients to work with in my executive kind of umbrella of clients. He is a fast tracking financial advisor with a extremely aggressive and successful team of financial advisors spread throughout the country. And he's just battling. He's battling hard in all areas of life, every aspect that you can imagine as a part of success. He's being challenged and pulled, and he's on the younger side, has 3 kids under 4 years old. Go-getter, hard charger from Iowa, and grew up playing football. Has got an athletic mentality of just give me everything and I'll figure it out. And so he's just bombarded with work, overloaded. His oversaturation of tasks it's not even worth talking about, but he's just willing to put in the fight and take it all on. He doesn't know what he's chasing. He doesn't know who he's proving this to. He's got some interesting shifts on his team here in Denver. He runs the Denver team. He's also a co-runner of the Lincoln team. And then he helps assist the Las Vegas team. 3 locations, 1 true team. And they're losing people left and right. Their customer service associates and client service team falling apart. Culture is really bad, to be honest with you. And I'm to the point now where I'm telling as many people that I work with on that team that the culture is it's poor. But nobody really cares. Fast paced, get your shit done, don't make mistakes. There's this fear of making mistakes that's driving the entire motivation behind everybody working there. But there's so much on everybody's plates. So people are working inefficiently. People are scared. People don't know if they're going to get fired. It's crazy. It's chaos.
Huh.
And this team's doing serious volume. And they're working with some high level clients. But you look at this environment that they're working in, and everybody is stressed. There's so much anxiety, and everybody's taking it home. And so this home life is garbage. And so now you've got, the spouses and you've got the children of these financial advisors that are feeling it. You bring that baggage home. You bring that stress to the dinner table. You bring that stress into your marriage. You bring that stress into the bedroom. You bring that stress into conversations. You bring your distractions. And I feel for him, man. But you know what? He's not saying no
Not saying no to what?
to the next task or the next responsibility, or one of the client representatives gets fired or quits, and he gets that on his plate. So he's taking on roles after roles after roles. He's working, what should be probably 120 hours a week of work in 60 hours a week. It just doesn't work. You're not going to get everything done. Something's going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And, you're dealing with, like, again, some clients I can't mention, but clients that are investing 2 and 3 and $400 million with this team. And you better dot I's and cross T's, man. If you don't check that account number and you make a transfer, if you forget to do a trade, you
Yeah.
you better be careful.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
So I just, it was a great call, long-winded way of saying
Yeah.
I'm passionate about my work with him. He's got he's got a lot going on, and I love working with him through it. Our conversation went from regimens of exercise to, dietetics, back to morning routines, back to organizational flows that I'm giving him ways to manage and organize all the work coming in. Um, and he's hungry. He's the type of guy who, I mentioned one thing he needs to make an adjustment on with his morning routine, and he's writing it down. And I said, this needs to start, and he said, tomorrow morning. And he'll start this tomorrow morning. This is, either changing his alarm from 4:45 to 4:30. He's a sponge, and I love it. And I love those clients. I love working with people who are just hungry for the information to implement in their life. So great call with him. And then a little bit of organization personally for these upcoming courses for all my athletes, and that whole flood of the athletic world, especially the hockey world, coming to an end this season. And so they all want to start training, strength and conditioning training, mental performance training. Randy.
So sorry. Is there a way to get you a little bit higher? Like a little elevated?
I can drop my platform table.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then, so sorry to interrupt you guys. Okay. That looks so much better. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
You sure?
Um, yeah, that's really good. Um, no disrespect, Christian. The dog.
You want something different or nothing at all.
Yeah, we'll work for another time. We'll figure that out.
That's fine.
But similar, what we'll do is we'll just keep Christian's backdrop in mind because we want something similar to that. Just because it's kind of generic and modern, you know?
Keep
Yeah.
Christian's backdrop or Ryan's backdrop?
I mean, Ryan's.
Yeah. I wish I could get Brian's backdrop. I mean, I'd have to tear insulation off of my
No,
walls.
no, no, you don't need
Yeah.
to.
Christian, you should just literally cut it out, peel it away, and then you could really just reattach it with some double-sided tape.
No, you know what we could do? We could just
Oh,
Didn't
that
like
was
that.
great. That was
take a
great.
photo of that. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure it out.
So listen, can we just use some, we need to get some action words from Ryan as to what are your skill, like what do you bring to the table? Your experience, like what you do, your background and what you do, what we talked about the other day. Um, in the corporate world, helping people, mentoring, motivating, um, like why you? Why should people listen to Ryan? Like I want to bring my challenges in my life with my family, with my job, with my interpersonal problems. Why am I coming to you?
Well, I was going to ask that question too, just about what you were talking about, Ryan. Why does that executive come to you? How does he know to come to you? That's what I'd like to hear.
A great question. And I think I've got an easy answer. I was overthinking this, but the answer is clear and simple. I've cracked the code. So
Again, I'm so sorry. Um, if you just can introduce yourself and just talk about your background, and then you, all these years of your experience in the military, and you figured out a way to crack the code. And here's how
yep.
I cracked the code. And you know how the last part of the video was really quick and boom, 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 boom. I figured a way to crack the code. And I did this and I did that. And I figured this out and figured this out in a very humble, approachable way. And you'll do the same, Christian.
Ryan Herzog, former special ops military, spent many years learning about the best of the best, working with the best of the best, and continuing to strive to be better every single day. When I got out of the military, went straight into the entrepreneur track, started and ran 5 successful businesses, just loved the idea of the challenge. What can I start today? What can I develop today? What can I run today? And I was exposed to that military high level drive and high level commitment, brought it into my entrepreneur track and saw the success. Everybody around me going, what are you doing? What is it what's the secret sauce? What's the magic pill? And I put my head down and I worked. I had focus, I had intentionality, and there was effort. And I look around at people that they're not putting in the effort. I don't have the special tools. I don't have all of the answers, but my goal is if I don't have an answer, I go find it. And I've realized personally and professionally through all of the success that I've experienced, which came, keep in mind, from a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad decisions, I've realized that this is the code that I've cracked. I've cracked the code. I'm living the dream. And my clients, why do they work with me? Why do they come to me? Why do they listen to me? I'm living the life they want. I'm living a life that other people look up to, that they want. They want a taste. They want a taste of an amazing marriage with an unbelievable spouse. They want a taste of a home life with incredible intentionality and a parenting approach that it's not easy. It takes effort, but it gets results. And I've seen this personally and professionally, and I've got to take military, I've got to take executive entrepreneur paths. I get to work with athletes where I don't change who they are. I bring to the table mental models. I bring all of the experts in the subject matters in the fields across all of this, all aspects. And I do it myself. I live this life through these first principles. And it shows. It shows with my clients. It shows in who I am, how I live my life personally and professionally. And again, I'm 44 years old and I'm in peak health, mentally, physically, nutritionally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. I've got the metrics to prove it. I've earned this, but hear me out. This was not pure luck. This was not a handout. I worked through this with intense focus in a daily pursuit of excellence. And this is what's missing. And for me, that accountability that I bring to my clients is sometimes it's the secret behind all of it. I can take that accountability and that demand for effort from an elite athlete that wants to play at the next level, a military soldier who wants to go into special operations, or that executive who wants to take that next step, or maybe just someone who wants to rewrite their story. They don't like the story they're telling themselves every day they wake up, they look in the mirror, and they want to be a better version. I bring those tools to them. I coach them through it. I hold them accountable. I motivate them. That's something that I've done, that I've passionately pursued in my own life, is holding myself accountable. And I get to do that with my clients.
But also, excuse me, also, someone that's having problems with in their marriage, in their job, with their children, with their family, with their father, with their mother, with their brother. They're going through someone that has an ailment, they're dealing with a sickness. But through, I've had adversity in my life, you know, make it clear that your life hasn't been easy. Your life hasn't been, you've had struggles, you've had adversity. Through that adversity, you've developed strength. You've worked through your adversity to get to this level in your life. You've plowed through it and developed the strength and the tools to move forward. And you're able to share those tools and that strength with everybody, with your clients.
It's a great way to make me think back when I felt ill-equipped in a lot of areas in life. Growing up, being smaller, not being the best athlete, and being told I couldn't do this, being told I'll never be great. That was my upbringing. And being a smaller guy and starting this pursuit of military special operations, everything was going against me. But that was fuel for me. That was motivation. That was what I needed to take a step in the direction to go face the unknown. I think the world is so scared of falling on their face. People are so anxious about, what if I fail? What if I do something wrong? What if I don't get this? You're never going to know if you don't try. I tell people, I tell my clients, I tell my family members that you can't use the word can't until you've attempted. Can't comes after attempt. The world has become canters. You just got to put your head down. You got to get after it. I've made so many mistakes. I've fought through so much adversity in personal and professional arenas of my life that I didn't stop in those moments and sit and whine about it and sulk in the corner. Those are moments where you get back on your feet, whether that's being motivated by yourself or being in a small group that helps you, being close with a community that supports you during that, but you get back on and you keep going. The moment you stop, you've missed the whole opportunity of that moment, that challenging aspect that once you get through, you grow. We grow through what we go through. In those rigors and those arduous experiences and those setbacks and those failures, that's where you become the person you eventually want to be. But when you stop short of it, when you fail once, when you decide to quit, quit's a decision. Failing happens when you give it all and you don't have what it takes. And you learn from that moment of failure. You learn that if I want what I just failed to achieve, I have to work harder. I have to go get educated. I have to develop some skills. And if I coach this into my clients and the people I get to expose myself to in all walks, this isn't just your profession. This isn't just your sport. This is your marriage. This is how you are as a parent. It's all effort. If we think we failed with our children because we got too aggressive or we got too heated, we stop there? No, we continue to move in a direction to learn how to parent differently the next time. Christian and I had a great conversation about this. And Randy, I think we've talked about this. We have men who have hard times with their spouses, who get in fights, who get in arguments, a little tiff. And what do? They don't talk for a couple hours. Worse than that, maybe somebody sleeps on the couch that night. That's horrible. That's not how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to stay in the fight with the person that we're supposedly doing life with. We're supposed to talk through it. We're supposed to troubleshoot that. And that's how you get connected with your spouse, is you work through it. You don't go to the bar and plow a bunch of booze thinking that's your fix. Your fix is to stay in your house and have a conversation once you calm down and the heat and the fire's gone, and work through it. And the next day you wake up and you're that much more connected with your spouse rather than you wake up the next day with regrets. But we're taking the easy way out because it's really easy to walk to the bar. It's really easy to say, I don't want a part of this. We have to have more hard experiences in life. I tell my youth athletes I work with, you can ask every kid I've worked with in the last decade. I'm notoriously remembered for telling my athletes, do something hard every day. That's a Herzog quote. Do something hard every day. Why? Because it's going to harden you. It's going to force you to face the uncomfortable. And if we don't face the uncomfortable, if we don't eat a bowl of uncomfortable for breakfast every day, we're softening by the day. But then we want to be great. We want to have success. Well, you've never gone through hardship. You've never had failures. What are you defined by? Quitting is what you're defined by. You're not defined by making it through, getting in the weeds and getting through the other side. Like this to me is some of the most simple, not easy aspects missing from society as a whole. We're not doing enough hard stuff. We're not pushing through our failures. We're not forcing ourselves to figure things out when we don't have the answer. If you can't find a way, make a way.
There's a mic drop moment right there.
One thing, just to touch upon, when you, God forbid, get laid off from a job, or you are financially in a lull and you're having issues with your finances, or you're just, you're just in a bad way. There's a lot of people that take those challenges and that's the be all end all. And I tell people, there's been times in my life, like I remember I was in between jobs and I was looking for my other opportunity. And, this is just a window. This is just a short little pause. This doesn't define me. This is just this is not poor Randy. I'll be back on top within a month. Give me 2 months. I'll probably be making triple. But so many people allow a bump in the road to define them. And to your point, when we get down, when we have adversity, when we have challenges, the most important thing we can do is, pick up our bootstraps and get out of bed, go for a run, go to the gym, get out and just embrace life. Do the uncomfortable. Do the uncomfortable. Do the things that just you don't want to do, but face the world every day. Don't sit in the muddy water and the shit every day. You got to get out of your comfort zone. And I think too many people they just sit and they just feel sorry for themselves. And that doesn't do anybody any good. And not to get off point, but we as men and women have a responsibility to our family. And obviously, mental health, I get it. It's important, and everybody is dealing with their own thing. But when we have children, when we have a significant other, when we have responsibilities, we owe it to our family to figure out a way to step up. It's important. And if we're dealing with mental health, we got to figure out a way to get that help. We owe it to our family. And I think a lot of people are so selfish that it's all about them and they lose sight of their family. And maybe I'm off point here because I think maybe a lot of people are just so messed up that maybe they can't see, the forest through the trees. But I think it's important to realize that, you got to stand up for that family. You got to
You know,
stand, you know,
I was
go
going to
ahead.
jump in here, Randy. I'm thinking about an experience that to share with you guys or with everybody. I left healthcare in 2002, and I thought that was going to be my career, doing direct care healthcare, and I jumped into medical sales, And I was so sure that medical sales was going to be that fantastic opportunity for my family, for myself. It was going to be that this was going to be that next amazing job. I did medical sales for almost 20 years. I lost a job every 2.5 years in medical sales. And every single time my wife would get stressed out. My kids didn't really know in the beginning. I would get stressed out. But the one thing that my wife and I, and me specifically, always said and always tout is stay positive. Keep moving forward. When you stay positive and you keep moving forward, then you're not going to fail. Something good is going to come if you make it happen. I never stopped. I never stopped looking for that new job. I never stopped networking. I never stopped talking to my support group. I never stopped going backwards and asking for advice from my father or my father-in-law. I never stopped doing any of that. What I did is I stayed focused, and I got a new job through a network of people that trusted me and a network of people who were ready to take a chance on me. And every single time I lost a job and I got a new job, I doubled how much I made, to the point that you were making, Randy. You learn from those mistakes, you move forward, and you make better of yourself. And those are the life experiences that we all have to have. I think too many people, when a speed bump, I don't call them roadblocks, I call them speed bumps. When a speed bump comes into your world, are you going to roll it, or are you going to roll over it, or are you going to hit it and fall off your bike? Okay, you fell off your freaking bike. Pick it up, fix it, and start pedaling again. But so many people get upset. They go to booze. They go to the bar, as Ryan said. They stop talking to their wife. There's blame, and they never really just look at themselves and go, wait a second. I've already committed to this. I'm in this for the long haul. And you get that next gig and then next gig. I did that for 18 years. And every single time I picked myself up, remade myself, learned a whole new product line, a whole new team, a whole new amazing network of people that are now part of my network. And I can rely upon those people. And that's the other thing that I think a lot of people, when they're struggling with mental health, they feel like they don't have anybody to rely upon. Well, you've got your family if you've been taking care of them. You've got that wife or husband if you've been engaged with them. But where was that network of people that you were building? Family, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, I don't know. But we have to be able to rely upon our community as well to boost us up, to listen to advice, to be able to be vulnerable, to say, like, I go to my father-in-law. It's not even my dad. I go to my father-in-law for advice all the time. And he's got good advice. He's got 20 years on me. He's got great advice. But it's not always just the advice. It's the act of asking for help. If you can't ask for that help and then listen and then maybe take some of that, I call it stealing shamelessly. You hear a great idea, you take it, you use it. But if you're not willing to ask for that help, you will be stuck. And then you'll have debt. And then you'll have more debt. And then you'll be upset. And then you won't have the motivation to go get a job because you're allowing yourself to get stuck. So I live that. I live that all the time. I'm always ready. I'm always ready for that next tough experience that's going to happen.
It's interesting though. It's also about getting involved. I think
Yes.
a lot of people, they're either haters or maybe they don't have the confidence to get involved, or they don't want to bother anybody, or they just they don't want to get involved in their community, but also establishing boundaries. It's like with your family. You know, Boundaries are important. Boundaries with regards to the respect, with regards to the love, with regards to patterns within your family unit. You know, it can be a mess if you don't, when your kids are young. I know we're going all over the place, but when your kids are young, you got to establish these rules, this order at a young age, or you have mayhem. There's no control. It's like
Absolutely.
I hate to, talk about my brother, but, my brother's, one of my best friends. He's raising two kids pretty much on his own. He has no control. He has pretty much, he gives the kids whatever they want. You know, they go to dinner, they can order whatever they want. You know, I mean, that's fine, but you know, you gotta, I don't care how much money you have. Your kids, you gotta have some limitations. You know, your kids have to have chores. Your kids, there has to be, you have to be able to, your kids have to have some be managed, have some limitations, have some discipline. It's imperative. They can't go rogue.
It is imperative. You know, I'm going to let Ryan grab this one because, you know, Ryan and I are definitely lockstep in a lot of things. And, you know, this is one of those things that he and I talk about, laugh about, are proud about. And one of the things that we both feel like we've cracked the code on, and that is setting boundaries for your kids. Ryan, you want to share about your grease board?
The contributions, baby. So
That's right.
we call it contributions in the Herzog family. I just don't like the word chore, but you be you. So here's the
No,
deal.
I like contributions better.
Yeah, I mean, because
I don't like
it
chore either. Chore is not
yeah,
good.
it's this feeling of like you're contributing to the
I like it
family,
better.
right? And so we have contributions. And a couple weeks ago, Christian got a little more intel on this than anybody else, but we had a powwow on a Sunday with our kids. Now, keep in mind, this was after multiple hours were spent investing into the preparation, the design, and the planning of this next stage of contributions. And so our kids have always had minor contributions. Make your bed, you know, clean your sink when you're done so there's not toothpaste everywhere. Wipe down your toilet if you make a mess. Set the table. So little things that, and I know families that don't even do that. I mean, I know specifically a family who's got a 12 and a 14-year-old, and those kids don't do anything to help set the table or clean up. It just makes me cringe. Anyways, so our kids have a lot of contributions to be a part of the Herzog family because keep in mind, we work hard for the Herzog family. For our life, we work really hard. And so our children need to know that this isn't just what you have received by being part of the Herzog family. You have to continually earn this. You didn't deserve it. Mom and dad work our butts off running 5 companies. So when we come home, there's going to be work. So they're in charge of everything on the table that needs to be prepped. Napkins, silverware, condiments, waters are filled. There's no conversation about this. There's no, hey guys, you forgot to fill this. We kick that really quick by having a consequence. And this is where I think families are missing this piece. It's like, yeah, my kids do this. Do they do it consistently? No. What happens when they don't do it? Nothing. Okay, well, that's a great enablement. Our kids learned really quickly that when you don't set the table, you eat in your bedroom by yourself. Nobody likes to eat in their bedroom by themselves. And after 1 or 2 of those, you quickly realize that's my job. That's my contribution to our family. Our kids clean up dinner. Our kids put away all the dirty dishes with the exception of sharp knives and special pans that have to be hand cleaned after dinner. They wipe down the counters. Our kitchen looks brand new 30 minutes after we finish dinner. And Jess and I don't do any of it every night. This is not 3 days a week. This is not when they feel up to it. This is not when they feel like it. This is every single night. Our kids vacuum the house. We don't vacuum the house anymore. Our kids do laundry. Guys, like 8 and 6 years old, our kids do the laundry. Now, keep in mind, they get paid $1 per load. We have friends that have teenagers who don't even know how to load the dryer or the washer correctly. And our kids are doing loads of laundry throughout the week. Our kids, if they clean, or I'm sorry, if they get the back seat of our cars dirty, they have the responsibility of cleaning and vacuuming out the entire inside and the outside. How many times did that take to drive home? 1 time. They made a mess of the back seat. They spilled a smoothie that I made for them for breakfast. Guess who got to clean the insides and the outsides for 2 hours on a Saturday? My children. Now they have responsibility and ownership of the back seat. It's like their room. Guys, like these are not hard things, but they take effort. Jess and I sat with our kids for a long time and said, here's the Herzog family plan. And I still have it on a dry erase board. And I tell them, go reference it if you forget and ask a million questions, guys, because you're going to fail. But when you fail, there's a consequence. And if they do all their contributions every week, there's a small amount of money that they make for that. I don't know why this has become so difficult to get our kids to be functioning members of the family at an early age, not when they're 15. I'm talking about when they're young. Start them off with something simple, and then you build, and then you build. And Christian and I have talked about this a lot. Guys, it takes time. It was not fun teaching my kids how to do laundry probably for 6 or 7 hours because I had to do it over and over and over and over. And there were mistakes. And they spilled the laundry detergent all over the floor. And then they put too much, and then they didn't put enough. And then they got my white shirts red. Like, that's part of the journey. And I didn't get mad. I was like, you guys, you're learning, because you know what? If my kids now at 8 and 6 learn that mistakes are awesome and I want them to make them, they're going to conquer the world. Teenagers nowadays are so scared to make a mistake. And I don't let my kids think mistakes are bad. Mistakes are amazing. They know dad loves mistakes. Make them all here, because we can teach you and you can get educated and you can develop skills, because mistakes when you're 25, a little bit different consequence.
You know what, Ryan? I was having this kind of a similar conversation with my older brother. He's 3 years older than I am, and I was in St. Louis last weekend, and we were talking about kind of this. And I'm going to steal this from him, and it's wonderful. And you guys have probably heard this term, but we were talking about at what age do you really start holding your kids accountable? And he said, the age of accountability. And I was like, yeah, but what's that age? What is the age of accountability? And he said, it's wherever you as the father and the mother agree that that kid is accountable enough to know what they're supposed to do. For me, and I mean, my kids are 21 and 18 now, but when they were about 6 and 8 is the age of accountability. That's when we started to hold them accountable. And that's the thing. They have to understand it. You know, a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, they're not quite there yet. But you get that 6-year-old, that 7, 8-year-old, that is the age of accountability. Parents have to bestow that upon their children. They need to tell them, hey, you are accountable. I'm expecting this from you. The outcomes that will come from your behavior need to be practiced, but this is what we expect. And then when you're 9 and then when you're 11, your accountability goes up. And as your age goes up, but the parents are the ones, we are the ones who have to hold them accountable. I do not expect the public school system, the private school system, or even the churches to hold my kids accountable. I hold my kids accountable. They hold themselves accountable. Now, when they go into these institutions, they already go there with a baseline of understanding of what I expect of their behavior, what they will and will not do. Hell, I got an 18-year-old right now that he needs a little more University of Adversity. I mean, sometimes I just want to pull him aside, but he's too big. So we have to have these tough conversations now, and he doesn't like them. And I say to him, I say, why are we having this conversation, Owen? You're freaking 18 years old. This is something that I had with you when you were 11. Why is this happening now? And, you know, he comes around to it, and sometimes he doesn't. It's less now. But we never stop being that person that will hold our kids and our families accountable. You have to. And the minute you give them one of these, you're going to lose control. Because what's that? I was going to say, they're going to find themselves a personality. They are going to find themselves a reality at an early age. You hand this to an 8-year-old, they will find themselves a reality where they can do, say, or be whomever they want. And the longer they have it, the harder it is to extract that kid's brain out of that reality and bring them back into, okay, your contributions haven't been done for a day. What's going on? And then you allow those kids to evolve into the world of this. And this is the most dangerous thing that a parent can do, is allow their kid to go down that road. And so as a parent, you have to be engaged and you have
It's
to
the
say
worst.
no. It is absolutely the worst. And I have this I have this challenge every week with both of my kids. My 21-year-old, she told me after her second semester of college, Dad, I've deleted TikTok. And I said to her, I said, well, Rebecca, I've been saying get TikTok off your phone since you were 15. I said, I was the one who said you shouldn't even have the phone. But, these are the struggles and fights that were going down. And now finally it hits her that it's not of value to her. But those are the challenges we have. And I fought those challenges for a long time, and I'm still fighting them.
I was the bad dad for years because my kids were the last kids to ever get a phone.
Oh, you're the best dad.
I monitored that phone. It's the worst thing.
Absolutely.
Those phones are just terrible. You guys are doing a great job.
And
And,
I want to circle back if you guys are okay with that. I want to circle back to something because I want to make sure this is out there. And I don't share this a lot because oftentimes this can't be understood on a civilian level. And I'll explain what that really means. But one of the biggest takeaways for me from the military was this thing called QBA, Quebec Bravo Alpha, QBA. It stands for quit by action. Okay. So in the special operations, when you get out of basic training, you start what's called a pipeline. And mine was about 2 years long. So for over 700 days.
real quick, sorry, Ryan, can
Yep.
you just when you're talking about this one, can you just maybe talk like in your face a little bit? Because this is really powerful, I can tell. Like
Okay.
just look in the camera because I
Yep.
think this is really powerful. I like it.
So
And like even a little louder would be good.
yeah, the track for military special operations, regardless of the branch, is over 700 days. So put that in perspective for a second. 700 days you're living in an environment of selection. Now, 90-ish% of these people are going to wash out. That's the attrition rate. 90% of the people there are going away. They're doing something else. They're going to wash out. They're going to fail. They're going to quit. New job. During those 700 plus days, there's a concept called quit by action. Quit by action. Here's what that means. When you are doing any evolution of selection, you could be academic, you could be physical, it could be a mental evolution. If you show actions of quitting, keep in mind, quitting is a decision. Failing is not a decision. Failing happens when you put everything you have inside of you into something and it's not enough. That's failing. I'm talking about when you make a decision to stop, when you make a decision to step short, to go a different direction, when you know it's not right. That's quitting. Quitting by action, it's not allowed. You can't do it in the military. If you get a QBA, you're gone. It's that simple. So I can tell you a quick example. We were in one of the hardest schools of selection. We started with 120 guys. 4 of those guys graduated that school. But during that school called Operation Location Hell, OLH, we had to put a rucksack, basically a military backpack on your back. And it weighed a lot. I don't remember the exact pounds, but let's call it 65, 70 pounds. You put it on your back and you were told to get into the bear crawl position. Everyone's looking around like, this can't be that bad. Imagine putting a 60 or 70 pound pack on your back and getting in the bear crawl position. You're basically chopping your head off with your backpack. It's not comfortable to be in for a couple seconds. We were then told to move out. We had no idea where we were going. We had no idea how long we were going for. But we were told, don't stop moving and don't let anything except your hands and your feet touch the ground because you're a bear. So we started to walk. We were on hot Texas pavement, getting blisters on your hands because they were literally burning blisters into your hands. Then we went off road. As time went on, you have no idea where you're at. You're delusional, you're hallucinating, you're dehydrated, you're in the most pain you've ever been in your life. And all you want to do is put your knees down and rest. All you want to do is say, I can't go anymore. But here's the beauty of this. What the military does so beautifully is not just say, hey, you can quit by putting your knee down and go get a new job. But they let you know that when you quit, your team's going to pay for it. Randy, you said something about selfish. You said something about fighting for your family. I learned what it's really, really like fighting for the people next to you, your brothers, your teammates, your spouse, your kids, your friends. Like when you quit in the military, everyone pays, everyone suffers. The world doesn't understand what that means. I can try to coach one of my athletes or my military guys or even an executive on the QBA concept, but it doesn't exist in today's world. We quit all day, every day. We take the easy road. We can get as selfish as we want and say, I want comfort. I'm uncomfortable right now, so I'm just going to throw in the flag. And nobody has a consequence except for yourself. And some people, they don't even care. There's no teammate that goes, what are you doing? Hey, you've got 5 more minutes. Hey, get back on your feet. To Christian's speed bump, hey, bud, let me help you back on your bike. We got to get your chain back on the sprocket. I got you. You can go another mile. I got you. This idea I have lived since 1999 in every aspect of my life. If you quit, you're out. And if you quit, all the people you love pay the price. Like, can you imagine that concept? If people could grasp that in their lives with their spouse, with their kids, with their friends, with their coworkers, in their endeavors, in their pursuits of starting a small company, in their life, like in their exercise, in their nutrition. It's a magical concept that has been foundational to my success. And it was painful. It was the most painful thing I ever learned. And if you don't go through that pain, QBA doesn't mean anything. But for me, it's foundational to who I am. And I think about that. I think about quitting on my wife. Ain't gonna happen. I think about quitting on my kids. Ain't gonna happen. Why? Because it's in me. That resiliency, that commitment, and that literally no quit attitude. There is no quit. There's fail. There is not a quit.
It's so interesting you say that. That is the bane of my existence. That is the core to who I am. And growing up, I didn't have one person that would fight for me. Not one person, not one family member that would ever fight for me. Even to this day, not a family member would fight for me. Because I was always the guy that had it all going on. I was always the guy that had all the friends. I was always the guy that had the success. Always the guy that had it all. So it was more of like, well, he doesn't need, but no one, but I'm the guy in my life that fights for everybody, but I would never quit. I would never give up. I would fight till the very end for everybody in my life. It's interesting though, you say that about everybody in your world, because quitting is not an option. I know Christians like that too.
Yeah, listen, Ryan and I both share a similar fraternity. Let's just call it a fraternity. I mean, he was in the Air Force. and we don't hold that against him. I was in the Navy, and I went into the Navy with I went into the Navy, and I wanted to be a combat medic, and so I got that opportunity, and I got the opportunity to serve with the Marine Corps, and that is just hearing Ryan tell his stories about that kind of behaviors, those kinds of things that you have to do. That's the world that I lived in some areas. Ryan and I's experiences are vastly different, but we still have that same fraternity commonality of you are instilled in you the values to not quit. You just don't quit. It's not what you're here for. We're not here to quit. And the values of teamwork and take care of each other. And it doesn't matter how you feel about that person. You take care of each other, right? That's your job. And it's important that this is a shared vision for anybody who wants to hear it, because it's not easy. And when do you figure that out? It really took me until when my 21st birthday, floating off of the coast of Iwo Jima with the Marines, and we were about to do a mock landing. This was for the 50th commemorative anniversary of a major World War II battle, if you know what that is. And I remember distinctively sitting on a landing craft thinking, we're going to pretend like we're assaulting this island. And I'm with all of these guys, these Marines. And yeah, nobody's shooting at us, but the situational awareness of what we were about to do and the people who were on shore watching this happen, President Clinton, Vice President Gore, the Japanese Prime Minister, don't know what his name was at the time. And we did this evolution, and running up on that beach and seeing next to me or myself, Marines falling in that sand and thinking, holy crap, if this was for real, what are we doing? And we're helping each other up, and we're motivating each other, and we're pulling each other onto the beach. And we assaulted up onto the beach. And then when it was over, there was this new Christian, this new like, holy shit, that's real, even though it wasn't real. But that's that bond that you put together with these other people, and you take that forward. You're done with your time in the military. You're done with your evolution, but your principles don't change. They can't change, and you can't compromise your principles, even though I did one time, right? You can't compromise your principles. And so you set them out and you live by those. And that's what gets you through the tough times. It really and truly is. But if you grow up and you don't have principles, or if you grow up in a family to where it's just chaos, and it's not even called controlled chaos. That I don't believe in controlled chaos, because that's an oxymoron. It's comfortable chaos. People get comfortable living in chaos. And you know who they are. Everybody's got a friend or two or a family member who that's who they are. Things always black cloud for them. Things just don't seem to happen. Or when stuff goes south, it really goes south. And you sit there and think, man, if they would have just been more disciplined or structured or paid more attention to the little things, those huge errors aren't so huge. But that's the world we live in. And so, that's just that's part of having those shared principles. And, Ryan and I definitely feel like we've cracked the code in a lot of these realms and these areas.
Okay, real quick, I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you guys are on schedules. How can we talk about something kind of reckless and crazy that we can put in the sizzle reel? We have enough of who you guys are and what you're all about. Can we talk about maybe a crazy topic about maybe one of your friends are going through, or that you guys can just quickly talk about, not
I
take
mean,
long. We
I've
can
got
sort
a
of-
I've got a great story. I kind of wanted to bring my friend on to tell it, but maybe I can tell a portion of it, and then we can have him on later. But I told Ryan this story. Randy, I think did I tell you this story? The Tesla truck story? Did I tell you this one?
Is
Randy?
it is it is it sexy?
No. But it's a good story.
Is it political? Is it
No, it's not political.
Like Randy, what are you thinking? Like throw a genre, throw a
like
topic.
Yeah.
something about like a guy that's having problems with the wife, Similar. I mean, I know we talked about the guy yesterday, Ryan. The guy you were on the phone with.
I
Yep.
mean, I can talk about, my clients till the day is long,
Yeah,
Randy.
maybe talk about one of your clients, maybe.
All right. I got a great
But,
story.
but, but I want Ryan to be able to interject too. So
Yeah, all right. All right. So
Yeah. Launch.
go ahead.
Launch.
Go ahead. All right. I'll launch. 3 months ago, I get a phone call from a client. He's interested in our male enhancement service. So I tell him, I said, we can do a video or phone consultation, or you can come into the office. He said, listen, I live up north about an hour and a half. So can we do a video conference? I said, sure. And he said, he says to me, he goes, all right, well, I'll be ready for the video. I'm not thinking like, yeah, great, ready for the video. So normally in my consults for male enhancement, I don't need to know anything about you. I don't need to know what you look like downstairs. How long is it? Anything like that. Well,
wait,
he
just
was ready.
real quick. Sorry, real quick. Why don't you just tell the audience what you do, though?
Okay. All right. So at the Medical Man Cave, and this is an office that I've been working at for over 4 years, my job is to obviously coach men on men's health. And there's a whole swath of things that we deal with in men's health, whether it's men's medicine, men's mental health, men's fitness, men's nutrition. But then we also sell some pretty spectacular services, aesthetics based services, light procedure based services. And one of the main services that, it's our big bread and butter is we do permanent male enhancements. We actually are making men's penises thicker, a little bit longer, permanently through a 90-minute procedure. Now, I tell this story all the time to strangers who ask me, what do I do for a living?
Lori, for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yep. He
happened.
is.
My camera just did that. How's that? There we go.
Yep.
Better. But
So I
here's
tell,
so real quick. But
yep,
we don't want a commercial for male enhancements.
yeah, I know.
So we want to make it seem like, well, not seem because this is what you do, but through this, I wouldn't mention Medical Man Cave, even though you have it on your
Okay.
but I would say something like you work for a medical clinic. You work for a clinic. In addition to working with men who are having these procedures through the enhancements, you you hear a lot of stories and you about what they're going through in their life, in the bedroom with with their wives or significant others and their jobs and all that. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
through you kind of counsel them, you hear their stories. You know what I mean? So this is sort of a platform where right,
Do,
Ryan?
do you want a salacious story, or do you want me to go
Yes, I
down
do.
that road
Yes, I
too?
do.
Okay.
But the entry point before you tell the story,
Got
set
it.
it up that way.
Yeah. So I work for an upscale medical men's clinic. We take care of men's health from A to Z, basically. We focus on mental health, medical health, personal performance, sexual performance. We also focus on male enhancement. We actually make men's penises bigger. And I have a story I got to share. I had a client that showed up to the video conference with his pants off. And that's not normally something that we talk about. It's not something that we really get into in the consultation. I don't even need to see that until the physician the day of procedure. But he felt that because we were going to talk about that, that he was going to be prepared. So the Zoom starts and there he is just like this. And he goes, okay, I'm ready. And he stands up and I was like kind of snickered a little bit. I wasn't really taken aback. Nothing shocks me anymore. Right. But here's the thing. This dude, I'm thinking, what does he need male enhancement for? Well endowed. Let's just put it that way. Well endowed. And so I said to him, I said, hey, go ahead and sit down. So he sits down. And I said, why are we having this conversation? He's like, well, I want to know what you think. And I said, wow, I don't want this to be this awkward, but it's huge. And he goes, yeah, I'm in porn. And I said, oh, okay, so what are you wanting to do? He goes, I want this thing to be so big and so huge because all of the porn that I do is oral porn. That's all I ever filmed. That's all we put out there. So I'm talking to this guy and I'm telling him about the procedure, how we can make it bigger. And he's like, here, let me get my girlfriend and bring her in and she can give you feedback. And no kidding, he brings his girlfriend in, she sits down and she starts sharing their experiences and then their experiences in their community and the things that they've done. And this is where you can find us online. And you should join our forum because, I mean, it was absolutely one of the most shockingly fun consults I've ever done. So what happens? We get off the video and I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, is this really going to happen? Gave him all the information, said, hey, if you want to do this, he goes, yeah, we're going to talk. We'll let you know. Calls me up like 3 days later. He's like, I'm ready to go. We're going to come down. We're going to meet you. And we want to film every single step of the way. And so they did. And they literally filmed from our shaking hands in the lobby to the prepping to the procedure to all the post-op, all their follow-ups. I mean, we have a whole library of this stuff. And he's turned out to be one of our best customers for referrals, for just, hey, you want to see how it goes? Here's here, you want to watch 45 minutes of a procedure? There you go. And they have been so gracious and so open, but they very, very often follow up with, you guys need to come to one of our parties. You guys need to come do one of this. The Medical Man Cave has to come. And it's like, I'm not against any of that, but I'm also kind of like, you know, so there's your fun story right there. The psychology of these two is really interesting. They're both divorced twice. They both have children. And they both live what we would call an open lifestyle. I don't want to call it swingers, but they have an open lifestyle. But it works for them. And I've gotten to know them and I don't challenge them. But I do ask, as Ryan says, I ask a million questions. I'm just a question guy. And I'm curious. I'm not curious like hey, let's go do this, but I'm just very curious. And it's really amazing to me how many really hyper interesting people that I meet that open up and they share themselves with me. And it really helps with just perspective on talking to other human beings, especially these guys. Why does he want to do it? Well, there's his answer right there. So I thought that was a fun one to share with you guys.
Love it. Love it. Hey, I've got a hard stop in about 7 or 8. I'm going to throw a quick one out though. That is a little more on the other side of, well, we'll see. This is real. This is current.
Is it about Tupperware parties?
Yes.
No, it's about a real struggle that's happening, and I'm in the middle of it. So when I did my short stint as a COO at this medical distribution company, knew it wasn't for me, so had to go hunt down a replacement. The guy I brought in was a retired officer at the colonel level in the United States Air Force. So squared away, served our country. Officers, they've got that managerial, that leadership. Like this guy was a stud, and I'm like, I want him. So hired this guy, brought him in, trained him, onboarded him for, probably about a month, and became pretty good buddies with this guy. Well, over the last 3 years, we've stayed in touch. We'll grab a beer, I don't know, once every 6 or 7 months, check in on how he's doing. So recently, this guy is dealing with some serious struggles with his wife. And, I think the biggest thing I realized as I started to take a line of communication with him and journey on this road of struggle with him is guys don't have an outlet for this stuff. Okay. They're just keeping it in. I mean, this guy is hurting really bad. He has lost over 30 pounds in the last 2 months. He's not eating. He is an absolute mess. I've met with him twice. The guy can't stop crying when I meet with him. He usually wears his sunglasses because we're somewhere public. He's devastated when we're talking. I'm trying to just be there for him. Sometimes I don't even know what to ask. I'm just trying to literally be there for him. Um, and every time we chat on the phone or in person, I'm getting more info. And I think this is the important piece for me to just kind of share. At some point, maybe he would be willing to come on. I don't think he could handle it. I don't think he has the capacity to talk about it right now. But this all started with him going up to the casinos in Central City. And his wife authorized him to go up, but he decided to spend a little bit more money. And we're not talking thousands and thousands of dollars. We're talking, I think, a couple $100 more than he had promised. I'll stop and cut it off at this point. Well, he reached that point, and we know how addictive gambling is. There's no denying that. I personally haven't struggled with it, but I know a lot of friends and a lot of close family that have. So I get it. And he came home. He had taken some money out of an ATM. He knew he was probably going to get caught on that. So he actually borrowed some money from another gal who was up there that he knew, in addition to taking extra out of the bank account. Well, his wife knew right when he got home the next morning. So keep that in mind. He went up, he stayed overnight. He came back the next morning, which I don't understand that. I think there is some lacking communication, but she knew. She had checked the bank account. She saw the extra money get pulled out. She questioned him. And just like most probably normal human beings who are in that situation, scared to death, he lied. And he had trouble telling her the truth. He omitted some of the information. He didn't tell her about the gal he had borrowed money from. His wife had to dig this up. So this thing has led into many different arenas as I am learning about more information. He admitted to me the last time I met with him that, oh, and by the way, my wife and I struggle with this decision for me to be involved with porn and for me to be addicted to it. I can't stop, and it's affected our intimacy. We don't have the intimacy we had before because essentially I get fulfilled by watching a screen. And I'm happy, so life goes on. And my wife's not being fulfilled. She's not feeling that. They're in the middle of this crisis right now, and it's wrecking the family. They have a kid together. His wife has two other kids from a previous husband, but they all live in one home, a beautiful home. The family has all the health benefits from this retired colonel. They're not going to be able to live in this home if they split. There's no way they can afford it. The lifestyle that they've built up, they're not going to be able to afford. And they're hurting. They're hurting. And there are what I would believe to be a lot of people out there going through something similar, and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go to. They don't know who to talk to. He's ashamed. I mean, I feel for these people that hopefully we have the ability to talk to, be our listeners, to maybe be a guest on the show where we can be that place where they say, hey, listen, guys, like, I don't know what else to do and I don't know where to go. I'm at the bottom. I mean, I'm serious when I say this. I've had to ask this guy many times if he's thought about suicide because I'm afraid that that's the next step. And I dread that for him. I dread that for his kids. But the guy is at the bottom of life right now, and he literally has no help. And for all I know, I might be one of the only people having a conversation with him. And in all honesty, I'm not qualified. I'm not, I don't deal with that. That's not my profession. I'm literally just going there to try to support and be a warm body next to him and an ear for him. And I wanted to just throw that out because it's something I know we all know somebody dealing with it. And it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard. But those are decisions that he made. Unfortunately, I don't think she's going to forgive him for those decisions. I don't know where this is going to go, but it's not pretty and it's real. People are dealing with this all over the place. And I hope that we can have a platform to bring hard stuff like that where people can go, hey, I don't know what else to do, but I'm on the last leg here, and this is all I have left. And we can pull that person in. We can give that person the tools. We can put them in the right direction, and we can get them to turn it around. Or better, I hope we can prevent that. I hope we can get involved in men's lives and families and maybe women's lives and give people the tools before they get there. Give them the tools to make better decisions, to have the reason why they don't want to take that road, to have that as a, I don't want to choose that. Yeah, it would be fun and it might be really exciting and make me feel really good, but I know the pain it's going to cause. And I think too many people, they don't look at it that way. They just, going back to selfish, they're looking for pleasure. They're looking for comfort. They're looking for the easy road. And I'm here to say, great lives aren't by the easy road. It's not going to happen. So hopefully that was helpful.
That was
You
great.
know, I listened to these and we've done what, 5 of these things now, maybe 6. I walk away from these so energized. I walk away with there's always a little nugget of of do better, Christian. There's always a little, you know, something I learn every time we're together and we're talking. There's just a little nugget of do better, give more grace, be more patient. So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, I want to thank you both. Really outstanding. And you guys are so good together. I love your energy. I love how you guys play off each other. You guys look you guys don't look very good actually, but no, you guys look great. I love your backdrop, Ryan. It's unbelievable. Um,
I'll
yours,
do it. I'll do what I can do. I'll keep working on it.
it doesn't look bad, but we'll work on it.
Hey,
You
it's
know,
better than it
and actually,
was.
it kind of balances each other out, but we'll figure it all out. It's a work in progress, but I think we got some great sound bites. You guys are awesome. Um, and I appreciate your time and making this work and more great things to come.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
I'm going to try and talk to Zach tonight,
Beautiful.
Randy.
Let me know.
Yep, and he said he can do it. So
Okay.
we're going to shoot for 7 o'clock our time, Mountain Time.
Okay. Fantastic.
All
Ryan,
right,
have a really good day. Thanks so much for your time. Okay.
I will upload this onto the YouTube page.
Beautiful.
All right.
Christian, hey, please send me all the invites as well, just so if last minute I can jump
Yeah,
on, got access.
Okay.
absolutely.
Great job, you guys.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
See you. Bye.
Great day,
Love that
fellas.
story, by the way. Okay. I'll see you later.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye.